We're going to call this rivalry the obsession rivalry. He wants what Jin has. Brian Fury versus Yoshimitsu. Now, this is a genuine rivalry. Lovable idiots, and they've been punching each other for brag. How many times have you played Tekken and you realize, wait, Steve is actually Nina's son? And this is 25 years of rivalry right here, guys. What's up, YouTube? Ozzy back with another video. Ex-Tekken veteran, ex-Tekken event organizer, and today I want to be talking about Tekken rivalries. I want to be ranking the rivalries and what you guys think of the rivalries and some of the forced rivalries that just don't make sense, from the ones that define the genre to the ones that were clearly made up in 5 minutes. I'm going to be going from S tier to A tier to the very bottom. And the bear that enters the King of Iron Fist tournament because he fell in love with a panda. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so what makes a great rivalry? This is the criteria I've set anyway, yeah? 1, personal stakes, yeah? Not just we fight because of the sake of it. Something deeper. Family, power, betrayal, you bang my chick, survival, pride, whatever it is. Winner takes it all, right? 2, history, longevity, right? The longer someone's ducking. Like, for example, Mayweather ducked Manny Pacquiao for 10 years. That rivalry got bigger and bigger and bigger. So you know what I'm saying. So the longer it goes on, the more it means. And 3, let's go with consequences. What does this rivalry mean if someone loses, right? What changes because of the rivalry? Where does the Tekken story go? The trajectory. Okay, firstly, guys, I'm rating from the lowest to the highest. And I want to get into this one. The Eddie Gordo one. This is a very interesting one now. We look at this ending. Like, Eddie's storyline is so, like, they could have done so much more with it. If you see the start of Tekken 3, right? Let me just pause it there, for example. If you see the start of Tekken 3, the intro, he breaks out of jail. There's an old man who helps him break out of jail. And, okay, you see Kazuya Mishima there. He's not in Tekken 3. They didn't really build on this. I don't know what they done with Eddie's storyline. And it's really confusing because Eddie's storyline is genuinely tragic. His father was killed by a crime syndicate connected to the Mishimas. So then Eddie goes to prison and he trains capoeira. I don't know whether it was that old man, but Eddie breaks out of jail, right? And he comes out ready for revenge. Problem. This is the problem I have now. His actual target keeps shifting. Eddie enters so many tournaments looking for justice. His rivalry against a single antagonist, it's been a Mishima drama connected to it. He's angry about it, but I don't know. It's never truly embedded in what's really going on. So for me, I have to rank Eddie at the lowest because he's one of the most legitimate grievances, but I don't know what's going on. His rivalry doesn't make sense. It's all fire, no direction. And it's forced into a tier, not because his story doesn't matter. Because if you watch my previous videos, his story is actually the most interesting to me, because it reminds me of Tango and Cash when Tango and Cash break out of jail. Okay, guys, let's talk about Jack versus Prototype Jack. This one doesn't make sense because when your rival is just a previous version of you, so every new Jack model renders the previous one that's obsolete. So Prototype Jack technically exists as a rival to the updated units of the new Jack. So he's the original, and then the new Jacks are just replacements, right? So there's no really emotional storyline. It's just Prototype Jack doesn't have depth or programming. The newer Jacks don't carry any grudges. So it doesn't make sense. This is going straight into C rank. Same in Eddie's category. Now, guys, this is a funny one for me, right? Kuma. My man enters every tournament because of this panda. He's sprung. The guy's in love. We all been there. You simping over that one chick. We just don't care. And poor guy just entering every tournament, banging everyone up just for this one chick. Panda. And I don't know if this is a rivalry. Kuma's Heihachi's pet, right? Raised by Heihachi. Does he want him simping over this panda? You know, he's trained in Heihachi's fighting style, which says a lot about both of them, to be honest. And Panda's Link Yu's bodyguard. And unfortunately, the love is not the same. So, look, there's no resolution here and there's no character growth, in my opinion. This is just a bear who keeps showing up to competitions because he's trying to get some pussy. I don't know. I can't categorize that as a rivalry, yo. I'm sorry. Kuma, I love you, but you're in the C category here, bro. Okay, now we have Ancient Ogre versus Jin. Now, this is a very interesting one. I have to think hard about this. I have to go over and look over all these endings. Now, this ending is cold. Like, Ancient Ogre ain't been in any more Tekkens, but this ending is so cold. You know why? It reminds me of Predator 2 ending. When Predator gets killed by, what's his name? Danny Glover, yeah? All the other Predators ascend down and they show him that respect. Like, yo, big you up. You're a warrior. Like, guys, can we just really appreciate this ending? This is hand drawn. Like, you could tell. Forget about the right. Look at this. This is phenomenal. This is Tekken 3, guys. Wow. Amazing. Really. But anyway, look, let's talk about. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about his rivalry with Jin. Yeah, Jin, we first see in Tekken 3. Ancient Ogre, we first see in Tekken 3. So Ogre's technically the boss, but not a recurring rival. So with Ancient Ogre, they try to make him like he's some beast, like he's the king of fighting, like an ancient supernatural entity, and like he's been absorbing souls, a bit like Shang Tsung, of the world's greatest fighters from every decade. That's why he's got moves from like so many different characters. Sorry. So I mean, apparently he killed Jun Kazama and the woman that Jin loved more than anyone. So that loss is the entire reason Jin enters Tekken 3, the tournament. So the Mishima story is quite deep and it's kind of accelerating from there. So without Ogre, technically, there's no really Jin arc. Yeah, we're gonna get into Jin a bit more and these weird rivalries, but I'm just trying to think. Without Jun's death, Jin never goes to Heihachi. If that makes sense. He never gets betrayed. So, it's a tricky one. It never becomes what it becomes with Ogre. So Ogre is less of a rival and more of a catalyst. But I would say a more important catalyst in the franchise. I don't know why he got removed from the roster. That I don't know. But I would I would rank this rivalry. I would put this I would put this in B tier, last B tier. So Dr. Bosconovitch loses his daughter. Alyssa's basically an android created in the image of a dead kid, as fucked up as that sounds. Like her face, her name, her personality. Bro, like this is serious grief. I'm looking at this as an adult and I think, fuck man, I was playing this shit as a kid. So as far as grief goes, man, this project really goes to another level. So yeah, this is more on the extreme end, guys. So apparently Alyssa was programmed by the Mishima Zaibatsu and they fucked around with her. I don't know what happened, but they used her as a bioweapon, right? And we're not getting into Resident Evil. So which means Dr. Boskonovich's creation was turned against everything that it was built for. Yeah. So this is not a rivalry in the traditional sense. Nobody's throwing punches over a personal grudge, but it's the tragedy of a creation, a bit like Frankenstein. I'm gonna put this in the bid here, Aussie White, because this is a very deep storyline, and even the Tekken 4 storyline with Brian, where he brings back Brian to face Abel. I don't know, something to do with Abel's bioweapon. Yeah, it's actually very deep. Now I wonder why Dr. B got the cut. Yes, he was a crazy character, but he was. This is interesting, guys. Honestly, we're getting into a funny one: the Steve Fox versus Nina Williams rivalry. This is a very uncomfortable one and a weird one because Steve Fox is a British boxing champion with no memories of his origin, right? While Nina Williams is a cold-blooded assassin. We know that. But Steve was created with Nina's DNA. While she was unconscious in the cryo sleep that you see now, she's technically his biological mum. And she has absolutely no say in it, apparently, right? So when Steve discovers the truth, I'm sure he was on Pornhub as well. Nina's response, essentially fascinating, was like, don't get in my way of what I do. Yeah. So they worked alongside each other. No warmth, no closure, just a shared genetic code. How many times have you played Tekken and you realize, wait, Steve is actually Nina's son? No one really talks about it, but that's the truth. As extremely awkward as that is, this is a very weird rivalry. And then you're going to see Lei Wulong here with his very strong accent. Hwoarang! Then in the later Tekkens, but he gets a flashback now. In the later Tekkens, he has an American accent. Maybe he's been learning American English from a Celta teacher. Who knows? But yeah, if you rewind it back, yeah, it's when you see the Tekken 3 intro, you see her in the cryo sleep. I don't know if they already planned this ahead. That I don't know. So guys, look, this one is a beer tier for me because it's still weak, fascinating at the same time, and very weird because Tekken is weird. No one normal plays Tekken. Tekken never really fully committed to exploring this storyline in the future. Like, these Tekken 8 ending is just absurd. Him on steroids. Does it deserve an entire arc? That I don't know. But it's barely got cutscenes after that. Okay, now we're getting into the nitty gritty of things. Now things get a little interesting. We got Brian Fury versus Yoshimitsu. Now this is a genuine rivalry because you have Yoshimitsu one side burning, looking for revenge, and then you have the other side laughing, which is Brian Fury, right? So Brian Fury is a cyborg. Apparently, he was a dead cop. Now he's been resurrected, and he just simply enjoys chaos. And then you have Yoshimitsu from the Manji clan, a group of honorable thieves, a bit like Robin Hood, yeah, who steal from the corrupt and give to the poor. And then you have Brian, who slaughtered one of the Manji clan's members and stole from them as well, apparently. And Yoshimitsu has sworn revenge. So that's a real rivalry. There's some storyline. Yay! So here what makes this rivalry actually quite interesting is the asymmetry. Yoshimitsu is burning with a righteous purpose. Brian doesn't even remember why Yoshimitsu is upset because he's a cyborg. Or he just doesn't give a shit, which somehow makes it worse. So one man is actually fighting for honor and for his people, and the other one is just pure chaos, a bit like Shao Kahn. This is a very good rivalry, guys. I'll put this on the B tier. Guys, now we have Jin Kazama versus Heihachi Mishima. Here comes a betrayal. There's the betrayal. How many times have we seen that? We look at this. Jin survives, he turns into Devil Jin. But the version of Jin that survived was not the boy who came into the family. That boy was gone. What came back was something a bit more colder, more calculated, done with every Mishima. That's why he had the Tekken 4 style. This is actually a very quiet rivalry that builds up. This rivalry is just a little quieter than Kazuya versus Heihachi. The betrayal's still there. Your granddad just shot you in the head. It's devastating because Jin actually trusted him. Kazuya never trusted Heihachi. He just chucked his ass in the volcano. Jin did. That's the difference. That's granddad right there. So we're going to put this in the A tier, guys. Now, guys, we have the comical one. Paul and Forest Law, Martial Law, Paul Phoenix. Now, this rivalry don't make sense to me at all, right? After Tekken 4, Paul was turned into like a comedian. I don't understand why he was made a comical character, but Paul's storyline was good. Now he wants to be the strongest in the universe. I don't know why. Martial Law was supposed to be Bruce Lee, but they made him a chef. His restaurant goes down under. He falls into depression. He comes back. What happened with that? I don't know what they were doing with this one. This one don't make sense to me. I'm going to tell you why. Because there's no hatred there. They're eternal rivals, and like it's zero winners. There's no hatred here, but there's rivalry. Which can it make it work? Kinda. So these two are genuinely good friends, guys. Can good friends become rivals? That's the question I want to ask you. Neither has definitely proven they're better than one another, and neither ever will, in my opinion. I'm going to rank this high. Why? Because it's a comedy, and I love Paul, and I love Martial Law. They're brethrens end of the day. They're boys, and they've got that friendly rivalry, yeah? So how can I put this in boxing terms? It's just meant like Roberta Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, they became friends afterwards. So this is the comedy rivalry, and I'm gonna put this in A tier. Sisters who've been trying to kill each other from Tekken 1. Yeah, one has a bazooka, the other one has guns. One is an assassin. I don't know what Anna is. I think she's an assassin as well. They've been at each other's throats since Tekken 1. The lore has been retoned a little bit. The games have come and gone, and somehow the hatred's kind of always been there. And in Tekken 8, you could see, even with the intro, let's play the intro. Yeah, so they have a little dialogue. The developers, played on that. So Nina was put into cryosleep as a part of a medical experiment, right? She woke up and she had Steve Fox. That's some fucked up shit. That's fucked up. Yeah, she's got trauma. So she got no memory, and Anna, her younger sister, followed her into a cryosleep voluntarily, apparently, and just to keep the rivalry going. And then Nina woke up. Let that sink in, guys. Let that sink in. So she froze herself just for beef, apparently. So anyway, for me, what elevates is to the A tier because they've been in every Tekken, I believe, and I wasn't in Tekken 4. Someone correct me on that. I don't know. She wasn't in Tekken 4. I love Tekken 4. We love Tekken 4 here. This is a rivalry from the beginning. Anna and Nina Williams. You guys love this rivalry. This, for me, is still going to be in A tier. Hwoarang versus Jin Kazama. For me, this is a very funny rivalry. Why? Hwoarang's chasing Jin like a simp, right? I don't understand this rivalry. The obsession. We're going to call this rivalry the obsession rivalry. He wants what Jin has. The draw that broke a military's career. That's the way we can put this, right? So their fight ends in a draw. That's it. Halas, finish. That's where the rivalry apparently starts. And it's all Hwoarang who needs to feel validation that he's good enough and he's chasing Jin Kazama. It's like chasing that fight his whole life. And Hwoarang is a taekwondo prodigy who cannot accept that Jin fought him at a standstill. Right? You see the military show up here, and I don't understand what Hwoarang's point of view or angle is here. What he's trying to do. I don't get it. He looks very desperate. But anyway, the military show up. They keep competing because finishing this fight matters more, apparently, than the military record, his career, and his freedom. So, where it becomes a bit more than a rivalry is when Jin fully transforms into Devil Jin in Tekken 5, and it's Hwoarang who tries to reach him. So, he takes a fatal hit from Devil Jin, just trying to snap him back into reality. So, he almost dies for a man he claims to just want to beat in a fair fight. So for me, that's not rivalry. That's devotion and obsession, man. So Hwoarang doesn't want to defeat Jin. He wants Jin to be himself enough to be worth defeating. And here's where it becomes a bit more than a rivalry and borderline weird and obsession. And that's what Tekken is. So when Jin transforms into Devil Jin, Hwoarang beats him, right? And he tries to reach him. He takes a near fatal hit from Devil Jin, just trying to snap him back into reality, and he almost dies for a man who claims he just wants to beat him in a Tekken tournament. So look, this goes beyond rivalry now, guys, in my opinion. So that's devotion. And that's why I gotta rank this rivalry high. So in a roster full of people fighting for power and greed and so forth, this is just sheer combat. Hwoarang is fighting for the purest reason of all. He wants to know who's better. So you know what? I'll give Hwoarang that. And I'll put this in S tier. Yeah? Underrated S tier. Lower part of S tier, yeah? Now guys, we're getting into the business end of things. Jin Kazama versus Kazuya Mishima. Right? The curse that was passed down. The son of the son, the 25-year payoff. So if Kazuya versus Heihachi is the original, then Kazuya versus Jin is the inheritance of it, per se. Yeah. So Jin never asked for the Devil Gene. Let's get that straight. He was born with it. Yeah. So he passed it down from Kaz, who was never present. He was an absent father who barely knew. He only showed up to use him as a weapon, as an obstacle, you could say. That's cruelty of this one. Like Heihachi at least raised Kazuya. Heihachi at least trained Jin, even though he shot him after. But even if you raised him like a weapon, Kazuya gave Jin nothing except a curse. They're like, there's no moves that Jin has apart from Electric and Hellsweep that I think he got from Heihachi. Their rivalry actually builds quite slowly. Jin is aware of Kazuya, but their paths don't fully collide until later in the series. Let's remember, Kaz wasn't in Tekken 3. That was Jin's debut, right? So in Tekken 4, they really meet. And what they do is not just a grudge match, it's a reckoning. Jin becomes the chairman of Mishima Zaibatsu. And then, you could see that in Tekken 6. They draw Azazel, who's the source apparently of the devil gene, and destroy it even by like any means necessary, if that makes sense. So Kaz, on the other hand, fully embraces that power. He doesn't understand Jin's sacrifice because Kazuya never learned to sacrifice anything. So here, look, the ending of Tekken 8, it gives us the final payoff. Two men, same blood, epic ending. Kazuya fights to rule it, to rule the world, and this is 25 years of rivalry right here, guys. Right in front of you. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. I enjoyed this. When this first came out, it looked phenomenal, to be fair, but in game, it doesn't really play like that. So yeah, this is interesting. This is a good rivalry. This is the rivalry, I think, that defines modern Tekken. And this, I'm going to put this in S tier, guys. There's no debate about this rivalry. All right, guys. This is my number one rivalry. I mean, is it any surprise? This is what kicked off the whole bloody franchise. He chucks Kazuya down a volcano. If you don't like your dad, just think about Kazuya's dad. Kazuya's got some serious trauma. You can see that in Tekken 4. And this smile, oh my gosh, Heihachi, man. What are you doing? Guys, yeah, so look, there's not much to say about this rivalry. It's like they've built the whole franchise on this, yeah? So everything in Tekken leads to this rivalry. Kazuya versus Heihachi Mishima. Whoever you prefer. To be fair, I like both of them, yeah? So he throws him down a volcano. So look, this is S tier. It's not just violence, it's symmetry, guys, yeah? Kazuya survives, apparently. I don't know how you survive that. Yeah, you go straight into the volcano. Yeah, so he somehow comes back. Tekken 4, that comeback was phenomenal. Yeah, bangs up all the Tekken Force guys. He actually's like Nazamaru Kazamajin. Look, this is not just a rivalry. This is a generation war. Yeah, where the battlefield is literally their own blood, and neither side is capable of love. I think both of these guys need to hug it out. Apparently, he actually dies in Tekken 7 for real, apparently, and Kazuya doesn't celebrate. He just keeps going because the hatred wasn't about Heihachi, it was about what Heihachi made him. I done a video on why I got bored of this storyline, that they keep recycling it, and there's no innovation. This is my tier list, guys, of the Tekken rivalry. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with my Tekken rivalry tier list? Let me know in the comment, guys, if you made it to the end. If you like the video, give it a like. Hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Aussie is out. Peace in the Middle East.